All right. Greetings, everybody. What's going on? How is everybody doing today? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. I had to think about that one for a moment. This your girl Tiffany coming through right here live in effect. And as you can see, today's topic will be dealing with Joseph Monroe Segars. Joseph Monroe Segars was ambassador. And also, as you can see, there's my Cash App information. If you want to contribute, Cash App $ Tiffany World. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also share this video as well. All right, so today's topic, let's get into who is Joseph Monroe Segars and what did he do and how did he contribute to society? All right, so I'm going to show you an image of him. This is Joseph Monroe Segars, right? Now, let's go into his biography. All right, if you guys can see my screen, get ready to post it up. So this is Joseph Monroe Segars' story. All right, so he was born on November the 6th of 1938 in Hartsville, South Carolina. And he passed on July the 20th of 2014, Lakewood Ranch, Florida. All right, he was an American career foreign service officer who served as an ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary to Cape Verde from 1992 until 1996. When Segars' parents moved to Philadelphia in search of better jobs, he was raised by his maternal aunt and his uncle, Walter, and Francis Hines. After graduating from Butler High School in 1956, he joined his family in Philadelphia to work before starting college. Segars graduated in 1961 from Cheyney University of Pennsylvania with a bachelor's of science degree in education. After graduating, he taught sixth grade in Gary, Indiana's public school system until 1967. At that time, he returned to Philadelphia and began teaching sixth grade in their public school system. Segars joined the U.S. Foreign Service in 1970 and became the first African American to be assigned to the U.S. Embassy in Vienna, Austria. Segars remained in this position until 1973. He served as a consul general several times. In 1976, he began in that capacity in Johannesburg, South Africa, one of the first African Americans to be assigned to South Africa. His arrival in Johannesburg coincided with the Soweto uprising, which was a student protest against the Africans Medium Decree of 1974. He was Consul General in Kingston, Jamaica from 1978 to 1980, and in 1983. Segars was appointed Consul General, this time in Lagos, Nigeria, where he served until 1986. All right, so that's all the information that was presented on this website. And here's the reference page right here. So I got one more information I can show. Hey, hello there, Mr. Sir 00, if that's how you say your name. But hello there, how you doing, brother? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let me go ahead and let me present another source of information. You know, I get a feel of doing this all the time. I really do. All right, so here's, of course, the website that I was telling you guys before about, blackpast.org. Okay, so let's see what else. What other information can be found on here? All right, so down here it says that Segars became the deputy chef of mission at the United States Embassy in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania in 1986 and remained in this position until 1989 as a deputy as a deputy chief of mission. He lobbied for Tanzania's support for the United States diplomatic efforts to help resolve major conflicts in South Africa or Southern Africa. In 1989, Segars returned to the United States and became a career counselor in the Senior Officer Division, Department of State Office Personnel. From 1992 until 1993, he was a member of the Senior Seminar of the Foreign Service Institute at the State Department. Okay. And on July the 14th, 1992, President W. Bush nominated Segars as U.S. ambassador to Cape Verde. After U.S. Senate confirmation, he began his ambassadorship on March 24 of 1993. Ambassador Segars remained in island nation of Cape Verde until March 17, 1996, and then retired. After his retirement from the Foreign Service, Ambassador Segars moved to Lakewood Ranch, Florida, where he served as a consultant on African issues, and in 1997 received an honorary doctorate degree from Southern Eastern University. He was also an active member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. All right. And then goes on to say that he died at the age of 75 on July 20th, 2014 at Lakewood Ranch, Florida. All right. So that was his accomplishment as an ambassador. So what you're going to come to find out, if you ever study about Blacks in politics, especially, Blacks in politics, you're going to learn that a lot of them were ambassadors in other countries, and they were sent off to African countries in particularly. So the reason for that being because to be an ambassador, right, first and foremost, that means that you're a representative from another state or another country or another place. That's all it means. It means you're a representative. So every country has an ambassadorship, all right? Even you got foreigners that come over here, right? They come over here and they could be here as an ambassador to their country, as a representative. So any type of foreign affairs that needs to go on and take place, it goes through the ambassadorship, all right? So the ambassador takes care of the foreign affairs that goes on. So every country has those who come from other places and representatives or ambassadors in the areas. So, and it's like that. That's how you get foreign relations. That's how you get foreign affairs and interaction, through ambassadorship. All right. So I want to show something real quick pertaining to Blacks in politics. Like, if you guys really want to look up more information on that, because I came across this information on this website. Give me 1 second, you guys. All right, I'm back. So if you really want to look into more about African Americans in politics, of course, I recommend you also check out this website, which is archive.org, which is the Internet Archives that consists of PDFs or ebooks, and you can borrow the books for an hour, or you can borrow it for a couple of weeks. And it has where you can also make an option to purchase these books online. So you can check them out for yourself. All right, so here, this one right here, as you can see, let me hit borrow. This right here happens to be, okay. This one's called the Encyclopedia of African American Politics. All right. So it's an encyclopedia that deals with the list of African Americans who were politicians, or the events that occurred during the time in the African American period. So as you can see, there's the table of contents. Let me try to pull this up a little bit. Introduction. Okay, so it got the abolitionist movement. So it goes in alphabetical order. The list of abolitionist movement. And then let's see what else they have on here. Then they got John Quincy Adams, affirmative action. All right, so right here, let's look at affirmative action real quick. What is affirmative action? Affirmative action and busing for purpose of desegregation of elementary and secondary schools are the two most controversial public policy issues dealing with race since the end of the civil rights movement. Both raise novel and complex constitutional, legal, cultural, political, and policy questions. Both are deeply divisive, with white public opinion overwhelmingly hostile and black opinion divided and ambivalent. Because of the complexity of the issue of busing and because of the hostile character of white public opinion, the ambivalence of blacks busing for purposes of school desegregation has, for all intents and purpose, being eliminated as a public policy in the United States. Whether affirmative action for similar reactions will suffer the same fate is one of the most important and interesting questions in American and African American politics. All right, so then it goes into the origins of the policies. Right here, it says the phrase affirmative action has been traced by the historian Huff Davis Graham to Wagner Act of 1935, which granted collective bargaining rights to organized workers in the United States. The phrase affirmative action, as used in the context of this act, defined the authority of the National Labor Relations Board to remedy an unfair labor practice. It requires a company engaged in unfair labor practices to cease and desist and to take such affirmative action, including reinstatement of employees with or without back pay, and will effectuate the policies of this act. With respect to race, the phrase was first used by President John F. Kennedy in his Executive Order 10925 issued in 1961. This order required companies with government contracts to take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed without regard to their race, creed, color, or national origins. Okay. These two innocent and ambiguous words crafted by government bureaucrats to assure fairness in employment are the foundation of contemporary affirmative action policy. President Kennedy's executive order was crafted by Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson, whom Kennedy had designated chair of the President Committee on Equal Employment Opportunity, which was created by the executive order. Johnson appointed Hubert Taylor, an African-American protege from Texas, as special counsel to the committee. In this capacity, Taylor claims he was responsible for inserting the words affirmative action into Kennedy's order from the beginning. Therefore, African Americans in the bureaucracy have been intimately involved in the design of affirmative action. All right. So Just give an example of what's in this encyclopedia, but affirmative action is one of the most important role for us, because basically it just shows that companies or jobs cannot discriminate against a person based on their race or their creed or their national origin or whatnot. Nowadays, they don't really use the term affirmative action. What they use is equal employment opportunity, right? So you don't hear much about the term affirmative action anymore, but it's still there. Okay, the laws are still intact. So that means even if you not just only in a job setting, but just like public setting, like let's say you're going to school or anything that's dealing with institution wise, you cannot be discriminated based on your race or your creed or whatnot, because if they do so, then you can file a lawsuit. Okay. However, here's the tricky part about it. Here's the part that's real tricky. What they don't tell you, in some states, they have what is called the Right to Work Act. Okay. The Right to Work Act means that the employers can fire you at any given time without just cause. That means that they don't have to tell you why they fire you or why they let you go, but they can just let you go. Okay. They can just come to you and say, you know what, we don't need you anymore. It was nice having you here. Have a good one. And most states don't have unions. With unions, you have representatives that will fight on your behalf to keep you employed. Most states don't offer that. Okay. Some states do, but certain ones don't. So with that being said, the employer can fire you at any given time in some states, as long as they're under that act of right to work, because that means that you are an employee at will. That means that you are at risk at any time of losing your job. You are at risk at any given time. That's the flip side. That's the downside to that. So you could try to use affirmative action, but it's not going to always benefit you unless you can prove that it was a violation or it was based on discrimination based on your race, your gender, your nationality, etc. If you can prove that that was the case, then you have a chance of winning. But if you cannot verify that, then it's a tough situation. But anyways, I don't want to be on here too long. I just wanted to kind of like show you guys some of the information that is very beneficial that you can use, that you can look up on your own terms if you need to. So if you want to know more about what African American did as far as politics is concerned, especially, you can go online right here. You can find all kinds of sources of information here. Okay. Now, the reason why I on this subject about the politics is because, of course, we're in the election time, so we still trying to figure out who's going to be president at this point. Don't nobody know, so they still counting up votes and things like that. And there's a major conflict on both sides of the party. So this is a time to learn how Blacks got involved in doing political things. People tend to have this perception that, Black people, for some reason, didn't take initiative to do politics or get into their arena or whatnot. But they did. Okay. Some of them became successful and some they didn't do so well in their area. But especially if you go to a lot of major cities where it's predominantly African American, you will see a lot of Black politicians. Okay, you'll see that a lot of them have become mayors for the most part. Now, you're not going to find too many, you know what, as a matter of fact, you're not going to find any Blacks in history that has become a governor of a particular state. The only one that I can think of that has ran for governor in the state of Georgia is Stacey Abrams. She happened to be the first African American and a woman to run as a governor in the state of Georgia. And she was close enough to winning. However, it was given over to her opponent, which was Brian Kemp. That's the current governor at this point. But she made the history and she broke the record because they never had an African American woman run for governor until she stepped on the scene. All right, so even during slavery times, a lot of Black people turned to the Republican Party because they felt that the Republican Party was more beneficial to them and more of representatives than the Democratic Party. Because if anybody know about the history about the Democrats, they were highly racist people. Okay, I mean both parties are racist, but the Democrats show a lot of racism. Like a lot of groups came up out of the Democratic Party, and they started when Andrew Jackson was the one that started the Democrat. Okay, and he himself wanted to keep slavery around. He didn't want the African slaves to be free. He was the reason why the Negro fort in Florida was destroyed. He gave the command to destroy that whole entire area. And he took over it because he knows that a lot of African slaves, right, they would go there because it was a secret location. It was a secret spot for them. It was more secure area for them to not have to be back on the plantation. And they would cut through those areas, through that land to get out the country. So they'll go to places like the Caribbean, like Jamaica, or some of them fled to Mexico. So once Andrew got a hold of this and he found out, oh, a lot of these slaves, that's what they doing. They taking shortcuts and get up out of here. Okay, we got something for them. So he destroyed it. So back then, it was a lot of racial narrative, or race, especially on the Democratic part. So that's why so many Blacks lean towards the Republican Party, because they felt there is a stronger representation for them. And they had a better opportunity. And it wasn't until later on down the road that Blacks started leaning towards the Democratic Party, because they thought the Democratic Party would represent them, because the Democrats are supposed to represent those who are poor or, middle class or whatnot. Whereas the Republicans supposed to represent those who are rich or wealthy and things like that. So the Blacks felt like, okay, well, maybe we should give the Democrat a try, because we are poor people and we need somebody who can represent us. And also I want to say this. Now, this is a surprise thing. Well, a lot of people don't know is about Dr. King, okay? Even though he came up with the Poor People Campaign. Check this out. He came up with the Poor People Campaign. But he was not a Democrat. Dr. King was a Republican. And if you think I'm lying, I can pull that up right now. Let's see something. Okay, let's read something real quick. Hold on. All right, so I'm on an article right now about Dr. King. It says, was Martin Luther King Jr. a Republican or Democrat? The answer is complicated. So it says that Martin Luther King Jr.'s influence on American politics and his views about policy issues are a perennial topic of discussion around the time of his January 15th birthday and the Martin Luther King Jr. Day federal holiday. However, the civil rights leader personal political party affiliation remains a mystery. Okay. His niece, Alveda King, an evangelical supporter of President Donald Trump, has argued that her uncle was a Republican, like his father, Martin Luther King Sr., who was also a Baptist minister. That idea has been repeated often, but videos claim to show that Martin Luther King is Republican have been proven not to do so. King's son, Martin Luther King III, said in 2008, it is disingenuous to insist that he was when there is no evidence of him casting a Republican vote. It is even more outrageous to suggest that he will support the Republican Party of today, the younger King added, which has spent so much time and effort trying to suppress African American votes in Florida and many other states. Okay. So maybe I was wrong. So it is debatable at this point. Okay, I thought that Dr. King was a Republican, so I was wrong. So it is debatable whether he was Republican or not. But I could sworn that I seen a source that claimed that he was. Maybe he wasn't. But yeah, getting back to the point, a lot of African Americans in the beginning started off with the Republican Party. Then later on, they gravitated towards the Democratic Party. And to this day, you still got some blacks that are Republican, and you still got some blacks that are Democrat. Now, just because a black person chooses to be Republican doesn't make them a bad person or make them against their own people because they choose to be in the Republican Party. And just because somebody chooses to be a Democrat does not mean they always doing good things or a favor for the people either. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the personal views of that individual and their political reasons as far as when it comes to the concern of the people, where is their primary focus and who they feel has the best interest for the people. But at the end of the day, we can't judge a person's character based off the fact that they decide to be a part of certain political parties. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say because another black woman chooses to be a Republican that, she's automatically bad or good. I got to know her character. Or because somebody chooses to be a Democrat, they automatically bad or good. I have to know where their characteristic lies within. So that's my stance on it. But anyways, you guys, not to take up any more time, thank you all for watching. So I'm getting ready to log off of here. And I'm going to sit back and relax and chill. So again, I will connect with you all later. Please take it easy on yourself. May peace and power elevation be to all of you. And if you want to go ahead and share this channel, you are more than welcome to do so. If you want to hit the notification bell, please make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Do all that great stuff. And until then, this is your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off. Peace.